Okay, so we'll just go through a few questions from module one of this test, and we'll see how exactly you're supposed to attempt these questions. What's important to understand here is that there's very less time for each question on this test, and you need to somehow think of techniques that you can apply instead of doing long calculations. That is the only way you'll be able to manage your time as well as get the correct answers efficiently within the stated time limit. So all of these questions are set from different topics from across the syllabus. So if we target almost 6 questions right now in this guided practice, it will help us understand maybe different techniques from different topics here. Okay, so for the first question, it says k plus 12 equals 336. What is the solution to the given equation? Okay. So very simple. I mean, this is basic algebra. So k equals 336 minus 12. We should not be spending just time on this one. Just get the answer right away. 324. So you see, you should not be even doing a calculation on this one. Why? Because subtraction of 12 would give you an answer less than 336. So automatically you root out 348. 4,000 is a very big number. 28 is a very small number. So only answer that you're left with is B, which is 324. So you should not even be spending time on doing this calculation. So these type of questions should be attempted directly where you just predict an answer, and of course the right one. But if you think you're so unsure about your calculation, you can then head on to solving it as well. Okay, the function f is defined by f of x equals x square x cube plus 15. What is the value of f of 2? F of 2 is 2 cube, which is 8 plus 15. Right away, which is choice number C, which is 23. Very simple. Now, scene rents a tent at a cost of $11 per day, plus a one-time insurance fee of $10. Which equation represents the total cost C in dollars to rent the tent with insurance for D number of days? So now the person has to pay a one-time insurance of $10, which is a constant value. Now this constant value will be added into something that will give you a total cost of renting that tent at a cost of $11 per day. Now it's a D number of days, so obviously 11 would be multiplied with D. Why? Because if on one day you're paying $11, so on 11 days, so sorry, on D number of days, you'll be paying how much? You'll be paying 11 multiplied by D. So automatically this function, this expression will be 11D over here. That being said, if you have 11D, you are obviously adding it to what? You're adding it to the you're adding to the insurance fee of $10, which is a constant value. So 11D plus 10, that is it. This is the expression. Again, option number C. Okay, is this clear up till now?
Ji.
Okay, question number 4. This is from coordinate geometry, module number 4. In the figure shown, line M is parallel to line N. What is the value of X? So M and N are two parallel lines and they're sort of intersecting this line. So if this is 26 degrees, you should know, okay, this is not coordinate geometry. This is from angles, lines and angles. This is 26 degrees as well. So opposite of 26 degrees will be how much? Because this is a straight line. So it's going to be 180 minus 26. 180 minus 26 will give you 154. So this is 154. If this is 154, this is also a corresponding angle. It's also 154. So you're applying the concepts of angles to get the answer. D is the correct answer option. All of these questions are very easy up till now. I'm going to skip to maybe a little challenging question. Let's look at question number 8. Okay. The table gives the distribution of votes for a new school mascot and grade level for 80 students. Mascot is a badger, a lion, a longhorn, a tiger, and then there is a total number of the grades 6th, 7th, 8th, and total for that as well. Okay. If one of these students is selected at random, what is the probability of selecting a student whose vote for new mascot was for a lion? So now you're choosing one student at a random. So how many students are voting for a lion? There are a total of 20 students that are voting for a lion mascot. Out of how many students are there in total? There are 80 students in a class. So 20 upon 80, 2 ones are 2, 2 fours are 8. It should be 1 by 4, which is the correct answer. Okay. You see, we're picking up a line. We're picking up student that chooses a line. So student can be from any grade, could be from grade 6, could be from grade 7, could be from grade 8. So there were total 20 students from all of these grades together that picked up, that selected the line. So, and there were 80 students altogether. So we have to deal with just these two numbers for the probability. Okay. Okay, let's look at question number 17. Okay. Triangle FGH is similar to triangle JKL, where angle F corresponds to angle J and and angles G and K are right angles. If sine of F is 308 over 317, what is the value of sine of J? Now, this question requires some thinking. You need to understand that whenever two triangles are similar, remember that their corresponding angles are congruent, that they increase or decrease with the same ratio. So FGH, they're saying if triangle FGH is similar to triangle JKL. So F would correspond to angle J, G would correspond to angle K, and H would correspond to angle L, right? So if we now think of it, just assuming G and K are right angles. So that means if these are these two triangles, FGH, JKL. I'm just trying to understand this question here. F corresponds to J, G corresponds to K, and H corresponds to L. Now you see, G and K are both right angle triangles. This is what they say. Both right angles in these triangles. So yeah, this diagram must be correct. Now, um, now the sine ratios of angles, they should also be equal. Since sine of F is given, so sine of F will be equal to sine of J, because F and J are also corresponding. Okay. Similarly, if they tell you that sine of F is 308 over 317, so sine of J will also be 308 over 317. This should be the answer. Is it clear?
Yes.
Okay, so it was very simple that you had to understand that there was no complicated calculation involved. You just try to think a little bit on the concept of congruency and similarity of triangles. And if obviously when the angles are same, when the angles correspond to each other, their sine values are equal. This is how we picked up B. Now, that being said, question number 22, we're looking at this one now. A sample of oak has a density of 807 kilograms per cubic meter. This is 807 kg meter cube. The sample is in the shape of a cube where each edge has the length of 0.9 meters to the nearest whole number. What is the mass in kilograms of the sample? So they've given you density, they've given you length. So you need to simply apply the formula density equals mass upon volume. If you know the length of one side of a cube, you can simply figure out the volume of that cube, 0.9 multiplied by 0.9 multiplied by 0.9. Length, base, and height, you multiply them. So you can get a volume. If you use a calculator here, I think your volume should be, it should be 0.729 cubic meters. 0.729 meters cube. Now you have this volume, you have the density, so you can simply figure out the mass. Volume multiplied by density, 807. So this should give you 588 for answer A. Okay, this is the correct answer. Okay, now I'll head on to this question. Question number 24. The rational function f is defined by an equation in the form of f of x equals a over x plus b, where a and b are constants. Okay. The partial graph of y equals f of x is shown. If g of x equals f of x plus 4, which equation could define the function g? Okay. So you have this partial function, and you know that y equals a over x plus b. This is what we know for now. All right. And now let's try to pick up any one point from this graph. Let's take this one, this point, because this exactly lies on a coordinate -2 and 7. Okay. If I pick up -2 and 7, will we get an equation in terms of a and b? I think yes. So we put -7 in sorry, -2 for y, a over -7 plus b. This will give us an equation that says a equals 14 minus 2b. Now we've got one equation in terms of a and b. Okay. Um, Now there's another point. Let's pick up another point the graph sort of passes through. Let's take this one, -6 and -5. You can create another equation. -6 and -5 will give you -6 equals a over -5 plus b, which will yield an equation of a equals 30 minus 6b. Now this is another equation that you have. We've got these two equations. If we start simplifying these two equations, we will get an answer for a and b, simultaneous solutions. Okay, so let's solve them simultaneously. If let's use 14 minus 2b equals 30 minus 6b. 14 minus 30 is equal to minus 6b plus 2b. This is going to be minus 16 equals minus 2b upon 2 minus 2b equals 8. We've got a value for b. A equals 14 minus 2 times 8 will be 14 minus 16. A equals -2. So we have the values for a and b. Okay. Do we have the correct values? Hold on. Let me just recheck this calculation. I think, no, I think we have made a mistake over here. Hold on, let me just solve this one again. We'll just directly put these on the calculator because now you have the calculator allowed. And if you put up simultaneous equations, you get the answers right away. Okay, so I'm getting A as 6 and B as 4. Okay, we're going to use these values. Now, the original equation was f of x equals a over x plus b, which is 6 over y equals 6 over x plus 4. We have this equation now, okay? Now they're saying that g of x equals f of x plus 4. So g of x is equal to f of x plus 4. Now what that means is for all the places where you've got x, you can simply put in x plus 4. Y equals 6 over x plus 4 plus 4, which will give you y equals 6 over x plus 8. Hence, C is the correct answer option. So you see what we had to do here was by looking at this graph, we first got the answers to we got two simultaneous equations by using the equation that we had in terms of A and B. And how do we get the simultaneous equations? By just plugging in the exact coordinates. The graph was there for you to understand these coordinates and to plug them in to get these simultaneous equations. Now, once you have these simultaneous equations, you figured out values of A and B by solving them, and you got A as 6 and B as 4. For these values, what you did was you plugged them into the original equation that was A over x plus B, just to get a proper function with only x and y unknown and all of the other constants gone. So we had 6 over x plus 4 as a final new function. Then for this function, what we did was we simply plugged in the condition that we had. G of x equals f of x plus 4. And we got a new equation in terms of g that was 6 over x plus 8. And hence we got this answer, part C. I hope this makes sense. Okay. Now, okay, we're going to keep this discussion till here. This was just to give you an insight as to how problem solving can be done of multiple questions of different difficulty levels. Some questions require a lot of thinking. Some questions require a lot of working. So just be very smart when you attempt these questions. You should be able to understand what the question demands from you. Is it a question that requires working? Is it a question that requires a lot of thinking? You should be able to understand these differences and only then get to these questions. Just remember all these techniques and apply them all of the other questions of this test as well, and then share the responses with me.